And we're back, guys. Tennis in a minute. I'm your host, Good Energy. I give you the rundown on tennis coverage every single day. Just a few more things. I'm working a little bit on some trial balances, so little preoccupied with the last video. I mean, there's a lot more things I could talk about this matchup. So Marta and Coco. Now they played once, right? We know at the Adelaide International a couple years ago. Coco won that. That was a much younger Coco. Now Marta is older, right? She's a couple years older. In Marta's class, she was a couple years ago. She was in that class of, former top ranked juniors slash junior slam champions like Leylah Fernandez. She's a junior champion. Clara Towson, she's a junior slam champion. Marta's a junior slam champion. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Just I have so much tennis knowledge. I forget so much. I'm pretty sure Marta won the Australian Open as a junior. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but she was in that top class of juniors that were literally labeled to take over the tour, the next generation. Now she hasn't necessarily lived up to the hype, as Leylah Fernandez, who's already made a Grand Slam final, the U.S. Open against Emma Raducanu, and Emma didn't really have a long junior career, so for her to come out of nowhere and to do what she did and be, the only woman to come from qualifiers and win the U.S. Open it's insane. So a lot of people, they criticize Emma. Like, where's she come from? Who is she? How do you do this? How's this possible? Considering she hasn't done much since. And then someone like Clara Towson, who was a top ranked junior, is struggling on tour. And then you look at Coco, who's younger than that class, a couple years, 2 to 3 years younger than that class, average age, and she won multiple junior slam championships, top ranked junior, and she's already got a grand slam. She's already made 2 slam finals. She's made the WTA finals back to back. Coco's lived up to the hype, right? We saw Marta burst on the scene as well as a young teen and make it to the third round of a slam. We saw Coco make it to the fourth round of a slam and possibly have a chance to face Serena Williams before losing to Simona Halep. So Marta is big time, but the main thing that I've criticized about her game, if you really follow the channel, was I felt that she was focusing too much on strength conditioning, because as these young teens come up from juniors, there's a power difference when they're facing these adults. I felt that Marta got so jacked up, and go watch the old videos. I'm like, she's too jacked up. Whereas you look at this season, I've said, look, she's spending way too much time in the gym doing strength and conditioning. She's too jacked up. Where you look at this year, she's down 10 pounds. So it's like, I'm not saying her can't listen to what I said, but they obviously notice what I noticed, right? So she's down about 10 pounds in that upper body. And I think this is a good weight that she's at. She's playing more free and she's playing cleaner tennis. Anyone that has ever competed, there's a time in your career where you probably say, look, okay, I need to get jacked up more, right? I need to put on more muscle, so to speak. And then if you're explosive and you rely on your speed a lot, you reach a point where you're like, look, this is not, and I've been there with my career. You reach a point where it's like, this is not going to work. I'm losing speed. I'm a little bit slower. I feel stiffer in the upper body. So you lose that weight. And I think Marta's in that transition where she's lost that weight. She feels comfortable, and then the results are coming. So she'll probably stay around this weight, right? With this matchup with Coco, Coco's put on more weight. So now, a few years ago, Marta had the strength advantage without a doubt. Right now, I think that advantage that Marta had at overpowering opponents, now she's coming into a matchup where she's going to be the smaller opponent. Coco is jacked up in her legs, her upper body. And that's what happens when you win a slam and you have this success. When you go into the off season, you're going in there with a renewed focus, a positive focus, to where you can focus on key things in your game that's going to separate you from the competition. And Coco, that's her strength advantage, right? When she's facing players like Sabalenka now. And she talked about practicing with Chris Eubanks. She said, when I return his balls, Sabalenka's and Yelena Ostapenko's balls seem slow. So when you compare the matchup and why Coco dominates Sabalenka, it's because that fastball that she bullies opponents with, she can't do that to Coco. And then it comes down to who's a better tennis player, who's more disciplined. And that's why Coco beats Sabalenka consistently. She's a better tennis player. She's more disciplined, right? She's got better range. She can make better shots. She's more athletic, right? Now, Marta, on the other hand, what concerns me about her is she's giving up a lot of break points, right? And her matches are sloppy. She finds ways to win points with her athletic ability, and I think a lot of those points come inside the baseline when she's coming towards the net, when she's hitting passing shots, when she's getting her opponents off guard and on the back foot because she's so explosive and athletic. But when Marta's trapped behind the baseline, I don't think she's a threat to these elite players, and Coco is elite. And that's where she struggles and she loses matches like this. You look at the win she has, there's no one that she's beat that's a threat to Coco. Coco destroyed Lou. Uh, she if she played Mertens this year, she would destroy Mertens. Elena, she would destroy. Timofima, she would probably give bagels to most of these players now. Marta is a good player. I do like her game, but I just think that she's just better from A to Z. What about the forehand, people say? The problem here is Marta's forehand better than Coco? Last year, I would say yes. But Coco's forehand now, she's attacking with it cross court. So when Coco would get in trouble is she would get into a hitting match and show lack of discipline with the forehand. And she would go 100 miles an hour, 100 miles per hour with the forehand trying to win points. She's not doing that now. She's playing tennis with the forehand and then coming across court when the opportunity presents itself. So she's playing smarter with the forehand and she's showing discipline and patience with the forehand. Remember, her bread and butter is that deep backhand. That's what she wants to get to. And that's where opponents are struggling. Coco has not even given up a break point the last two matches. She's not being challenged, or she's putting herself into a position where her opponents are no threat to her. And I think she'll do the same here for most of this match. Um, and I think, look, Coco, she's one of the favorites to win it. She's my pick to win it. I think this will probably be the hardest match she's had, but I think it's going to be comparable to what she did to Alicia Parks, another powerful, explosive player. The problem here is Marta. Marta, she double faults a lot. She doesn't have an amazing serve that's really going to pressure Coco. Take Alicia Parks' serve and give it to Marta, then Marta might have a chance to win this match. But the problem is Coco's going to start these rallies comfortably. And that's the problem. She'll start these rallies comfortably, backing up Marta. And I think this is a matchup that a good coach like Brad Gilbert, you can really strategize for and come up with a good strategy. And I just don't think Coco's going to have a problem in this match. So I do like the first set to go under 9.5. And I do like Coco to win it. And a lot of it's just because Marta's making too many mistakes. She's winning the matches, but she cannot give Coco 10 break point opportunities. I mean, that's the match right there. Probably a breadstick and a bagel. I think Coco will probably win this match. I don't know, maybe 6-3, 6-3, something like that. Maybe 6-3, 6-2. But I think the first set goes under 9.5. Can Marta win this match? She can, but she's going to have to do a couple things. She's going to have to be patient, which she's not the more patient player here. And that's not been a part of her game. And she's going to have to be patient because when she's attacking the forehand and Coco's just returning it defensively, she's going to have to play tennis for 5 to 6, 7 shots and then wait till she gets something vertically that she can put away. She's going to have to control her emotions. She's very emotional. Marta's very emotional. You know, she starts to curse her camp. She starts to scream. She starts to make frowns. She can't do that with this mentally tough, physically tough version of Coco. This is Coco 2.0. This is the best Coco we've seen. Watching her play and watching every match, I see a lot of improvements in her game, especially with that forehand. Brad Gilbert, I give him an A plus. He's doing an amazing job. And remember, Brad Gilbert was an amazing player himself. Andre Agassi, people don't even talk about him. He's still one of the all-time greats. He helped Agassi win slams. Brad Gilbert is an amazing coach. What he's doing with Coco, and Coco's gonna have the coaching advantage. She's just from A to Z. Coco has the advantage, you know. So I think Marta's in a tough spot here, but can she win? She can if she plays discipline. She cannot get emotional. She's going to have to be patient. She's going to have to continue to attack the forehand and be patient when Coco returns it defensively. She's going to have to play solid baseline tennis, and she's going to have to get Coco to come forward, which is another threat because Coco's so fast and explosive vertically. Coco's such an amazing defender. I can't find many ways that Marta can win the match, but it's going to have to start with her being patient, disciplined, and keeping these baseline balls in play that Coco's going to attack her with 8 to 10 feet off of that baseline. Tennis in a minute. I can talk about this match all night. It's going to be exciting. Get your popcorn, folks. 3 more wins and Coco will win the Australian Open, and the same with Marta. If she wins 3 more matches, she'll be Australian Open champion. Like the video, show some love. We'll be right back. I'm so excited, guys.